Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I want to answer the question, which smartphone should you buy? Should you buy an iPhone or should you buy an Android device? Now, I do know when it comes to this topic, a lot of people are going to have a heated opinion about this because it is a very controversial thing when it comes to smartphones. But in this video, I'm going to try to answer that question, and I'm going to try to be as honest as possible in this video as well. I'm going to tell you the upsides and I'm going to tell you the downsides of both operating systems. And then at the end of the video, I am going to tell you which one do I personally use on a regular day-to-day basis. So without further ado, let's actually start the video. First and foremost, you can see I do have two smartphones on screen right now. On the left, I have an iPhone, and then on the right, I do have an Android device. And it doesn't matter which one of these you buy, which iPhone you buy, or which Android device you buy, because most likely the experience on either operating system is going to be the same no matter which smartphone you do end up going with. So just keep that in mind. First and foremost, let's actually start with the iPhone here. And here is the iPhone right here. You can see it right here. And let's talk about some of the positive things when it comes to iOS specifically. First and foremost, the nicest thing about iOS is, I think a lot of people agree, is the fact that this user interface really does appeal to a lot of people. It's very simple and it's very easy to understand. I think that's why so many people do gravitate towards iPhones to begin with, just due to the fact that they're very easy to understand. Basically, when you unlock the device from the lock screen, you just got a bunch of rows of icons and applications, and all you really do is just click one and it'll open it up. You use it and you get on with your day, which is actually really nice. So it's very simple for a lot of people who don't necessarily understand technology and things like that. And then another nice thing that Apple really does make a really big deal about when it comes to iPhones is the fact that they really do make a big deal about privacy. And if one of your big concerns is privacy, then I would honestly definitely go with Apple, because Apple really does try to protect your privacy, whether it's your data, whether it's your personal information, your app usage, or whatever the case may be. They really do care about your personal privacy when it comes to their OS, iOS. So that's something to take in consideration as well. And then honestly, the nice thing about iOS as well is the fact that if you have multiple Apple devices, like maybe a MacBook or a tablet from Apple, like an iPad, then they all sync up nice together. Like all your photos can be moved very quickly and easily between devices. Same thing with iMessage. If you use iMessage on your iPhone, you can use it on like your MacBook or your iPad as well, and that's very nice. And then of course, you do have access to iCloud, which you can access on multiple devices, whether it's your iPhone, your iPad, or your MacBook. So that's something nice. They do have a really nice ecosystem when it comes to compatibility, which is something Android users never really had the chance to actually say, because they don't really have something as unified and as synchronized as iOS on multiple devices. So that's something to take in consideration. And then another thing nice about iOS or iPhones in general is the fact that they do get support for many, many years. Like for instance, right now, there is a new version of iOS on iPhone, and that would be iOS 14.2, and 14.2 is available all the way back to the iPhone 6S, and that's actually pretty impressive that they do keep their smartphones up to date as long as possible. So if you do buy one of these that are very expensive, you know you'll easily get 5 to 6 years of support from Apple easily, and that's one of the biggest benefits. And alongside you getting updates for 5 to 6 years of you buying the device, another nice reason to buy an iPhone is the fact that you do get very good resale value, just due to the fact that the operating system lasts for 5 to 6 years with updates. And since you get so many updates on iOS, you don't really have to worry about the resale value being too bad. It does lose its value, obviously, when a new iPhone comes out, but at least it holds its value way much better than something like an Android device, which loses its value straight away practically when you buy the device. So that's just something to take consideration of. Now let's actually move over to the Android side of things and actually talk about Android and what's good and what's bad about Android. First and foremost, you would pick Android. If you're a person that loves customization, that's the big deal about Android devices in general. There is so much customization. And I know a lot of people out there say that Android devices are a little bit more complicated to use coming from iPhone. And honestly, I can kind of see that for a lot of people who aren't really tech savvy or into things like this. I can see them kind of complaining about how Android devices are hard to use, but if you think about it, at the end of the day, it's not really too much different than something like iOS on the iPhone. You still got rows of icons you can actually access, and you just click on one, use one, and get on with your day. But yes, going back to that customization, that's something that iOS users really don't have the say in, except for iOS 14. They did actually introduce widgets to iOS, so that's something that's actually very interesting and very nice, that they are kind of changing their tone when it comes to iOS and what you can do with iOS. But again, if you want something that's going to be good for customization and you can practically do whatever you want on the phone, then definitely go with an Android device. Another nice thing about Android devices is the fact that for the most part, when it comes to brand new features of the smartphone, most Android smartphones always get brand new features first outside of iOS and the iPhone. Like for instance, NFC was a really big deal with these smartphones, and NFC capabilities came to Android devices way before NFC came to iPhones. Then of course, wireless charging has been a thing on Android for quite some time before the iPhone even got it. Same thing with big screen Android devices. Android has always had big screen devices way before the iPhone ever got big screen devices. So you can see, if you want brand new technology, not necessarily the operating system, but brand new technology, then definitely go with Android, because Android manufacturers always want to try something new and always want to try to innovate and always want to try to bring the latest and greatest features when it comes to hardware first over its iOS and iPhone counterpart. Another thing that's not great about Android is the fact that you don't really have that unification that you do on iOS. Like for instance, you don't have things like compatibility between devices. Like for instance, if you buy an Samsung Android smartphone, then you buy the Samsung tablet that runs Android, it doesn't really have that same unification. You can't really transfer things easily over from your Samsung smartphone over to your Samsung tablet, which is kind of a downside if you ask me, because it makes things a little bit more complicated. You can't just turn on your Samsung tablet and have it work with your Samsung smartphone. That's kind of a inconvenient there. And then another thing that's kind of bad about these devices, especially Android devices, is they don't get a lot of support when it actually comes to updates. So if you're a person that wants your phone to be updated to the latest and greatest Android operating system, unfortunately, that's not going to be the case. With most premium Android devices, the sad truth is you only get about 1 or 2 years of support, and then you're pretty much kicked right out the door. Granted, I do have to be honest here, at least at the time of this recording, Samsung is getting a little bit better about that, and they are actually allowing their users to get 3 years of support instead of the measly 1 to 2 years of support that the past Samsung Android smartphones have got. So just keep that in mind. But that ultimately also does mean that you do get bad support when it actually comes to these devices, and you do get bad resale value as well, because nobody really wants a smartphone that's going to be out to date in 2 to 3 years. When you look on the iPhone side, your iPhone easily gets 5 to 6 years of support, and that's just not really a great look there. So basically, yeah, that's pretty much all about Android. And another thing that's nice about Android, or the last thing, is going to be the fact that if you go to the App Store to download applications, you have way more options compared to iOS when it comes to what type of apps you can actually download in the Google Play Store versus the Apple App Store. You just have way more access to things like customization applications, emulators. If you love playing old retro video games, you can do that on Android pretty easily. But then again, you do have to be careful with the Google Play Store on Android, just due to the fact that there are way more malicious applications, like spyware applications, things that'll take your privacy, viruses. You do have to worry about a whole bunch of sketchy apps, where Apple does a way more better Apple does a way better job of controlling their app store and making sure their app store is much more cleaner, much more better. You don't really see a lot of malicious applications over for the most part. They do a very good job of controlling that. And yeah, that's pretty much it when it comes to iPhone versus Android. And I'm going to answer the question right now: which one should you go for right now, and which one do I personally use on a regular day-to-day basis? I will have to say there is no one size fits all for this. It's usually what you prefer as a user. Again, I've kind of already went over the ups and downs of both operating systems, and for the most part, for me personally, I am still a bigger fan of Android, just due to the fact that you can do way more with the operating system. It's much more customizable and things like that. And I really am a person that is a tech savvy person, and since I am a tech savvy person, I really love customizing my Android experience. I love tinkering around with my Android experience. I love doing a lot of things you cannot do on the iPhone. Granted, not to say the iPhone is bad, and I actually do love the experience on the iPhone. It's very simple, it's very fast, it's very reliable. It's also a phone that's going to last you many years. You don't have to worry about that. It does also have a good ecosystem when it comes to different devices playing nicely with each other. I love that about it. Overall, I do love those aspects, but I just think time and time again, for me personally, I love the fact that Android is just so customizable and you can do so much with Android. I personally pick Android each and every time I use a smartphone, but there's nothing wrong with the iPhone. That's just my personal say about this. And anyway, guys, that's going to be it for this video. This is Wayne from My Tech News, signing out.